The male protagonist Ikki lives in a magic world but can't cast magic. The students despise him for his weak power and often humiliate him. To everyone's surprise, such a boy is chosen to live with the princess and is even allowed to bathe with her. The princess doesn't feel disgusted at all and even takes the initiative to approach him. Why Ikki can be so charming to win the princess' favor? Like and subscribe, and let's get it revealed. We are first introduced to the Haegun Academy in Japan. It's a school dedicated to training blazers, who can transform their souls into magic swords and are known as modern magicians. To become a blazer, Princess Stella comes to Japan from Europe. She excels in magic, and her entrance exam results break the school's records. In contrast, the male protagonist, Ikki, has no magical talent whatsoever. He has dreamed of becoming a blazer since childhood. Although his swordsmanship is exceptional, he's not skilled in magic, earning him the nickname, the worst one, among his classmates. After school starts, Ikki meets Stella in the dormitory. Ikki stares at her for a long time since she looks hot. Ikki also shows off his abs in order to show his charm, but he never expects this sexy beauty to be a princess from Europe. Stella complains to the chairman about Ikki's rude behavior. The chairman thinks that Ikki has done something inappropriate and that he must ask for her forgiveness. Ikki apologizes to Stella and is willing to accept all of her punishments. But Stella doesn't want to forgive Ikki. When she tries to attack Ikki, Ikki speaks his heart. He says that he can't help but get stunned because of her beauty. Stella doesn't expect to get Ikki's compliment and feels very shy. At this time, the chairman realizes that she has overlooked an important matter. She tells Ikki and Stella that they are roommates starting today. Ikki is the weakest student in the school and Stella is the strongest. The chairman thinks they are a good match. Stella is very upset with Ikki, and she proposes strict rules for cohabitation. Ikki is not allowed to talk to her, is prohibited from opening his eyes, and is banned to breathe. Because Ikki refuses to agree to the rules, the chairman suggests that they hold a contest where the winner can make rules for cohabitation. Stella is willing to compete with Ikki, indicating that the loser obeys all the demands of the winner until they die. Ikki agrees to Stella's request. Stella was born in a small country in Europe, but the country is not powerful enough, and people there are in need of strong blazers desperately. Stella is well aware of the responsibilities that a princess has to bear, and she aspires to be the strongest blazer from an early age. Stella has a strong desire to win, and she vows to defeat Ikki. 1 hour later, the contest officially begins. Ikki has taught himself all of his swordsmanship skills. He excels at mimicking his opponent's techniques and surpassing them. After careful observation, Ikki identifies Stella's weaknesses. What surprises him is Stella's strong sense of fairness. Due to Ikki's weak magic abilities, Stella chooses not to cast magic during the contest, intending to defeat Ikki solely through swordsmanship. Ikki holds great respect for her, and he gives his all, employing his death blow. After defeating Stella, he collapses on the arena due to the exhaustion. Stella is less injured, so she quickly wakes up. She doesn't understand why Ikki, with such strength, has to be a repeater. The chairman tells Stella that Blazer's evaluation system does not include swordsmanship. Ikki's magic power is too weak, which is an unfavorable fact in the evaluation system. Stella has strong magic abilities, but her swordsmanship is far from comparable to Ikki's. In the coming days, she and Ikki can learn from each other. Ikki is sleeping when Stella returns to the dormitory. This is Stella's first contact with a boy, and she becomes curious about Ikki's body. Because Ikki has seen Stella's underwear, she thinks it is fair for her to touch Ikki. While they make physical contact, Stella feels a powerful force. At this moment, Ikki feels someone touching him and wakes up from his sleep. Stella is startled and accidentally bumps her forehead against the bedboard. Ikki, being very gentle, voluntarily tends to her wound. Stella hastily apologizes to Ikki for her arrogance. Although Ikki has won the match, he doesn't make any unreasonable demands on Stella. They have become roommates, and he simply wants to get to know Stella better. Hearing this, Stella blushes slightly. From that day on, their cohabitation life officially begins. Ikki runs 20 kilometers every day, and Stella is determined not to lose to him, so she persists in exercising alongside him. After the start of the new semester, the chairman holds a selection competition for blazers. The top 6 students will be represented in this year's national competition. According to the rules of the competition, each student plays at least 10 rounds. After school, Ikki is stopped by a girl named Kagami, who is a member of the news club. Ikki is unexpectedly popular with the girls, so Stella is a little upset and decides to leave first. Just as Ikki is trying to catch up with Stella, his sister Shizuku shows up, who hasn't seen Ikki for 4 years. She misses Ikki and kisses him on the lips as soon as she sees him. Stella thinks that Shizuku's action is too much for the siblings and hastily pulls Shizuku away. Shizuku feels that Stella has no right to interfere with them and is very upset with her. Stella has to overstate the relationship between her and Ikki. She claims that she is Ikki's servant and that they have been living together intimately for 72 hours. Shizuku cannot stand Ikki and Stella being together and initiates an attack on Stella. The school forbids fighting in non-combat areas, so they are punished by the headmistress. After the punishment, Shizuku remains unwilling to reconcile with Stella. Ikki holds a unique position within their family, and Shizuku believes that Stella will never truly comprehend the bond between siblings. Stella becomes curious about Ikki's family and asks him about it. Ikki tells Stella that he comes from a family of samurai, with his great-grandfather being a renowned general who led Japan to victory in the Great War. Due to Ikki's lack of magic talent, he is treated as if he doesn't exist within the family and isn't even allowed to attend family gatherings. The weather was unusually bad on the day Ikki ran away from home. When Ikki lost confidence in life, he dreamed of his great-grandfather. Great-grandfather hoped Ikki to pull himself together. He believed that human beings are capable of anything if they never give up. Ikki aspires to be like his great-grandfather. No matter how difficult the situation is, he never gives up. With Ikki's hard work, he enrolled in the magic school. However, Ikki's family did not support him. To prevent Ikki from affecting the family's reputation, they negotiated with the former chairman of the board, who required Ikki to reach their standard ability level before he could attend classes regularly. Thankfully, the current chairman of the board takes over and makes changes to the school system, which betters Ikki's situation. Stella doesn't realize that Ikki is as much of a fighter as she is. After this conversation, she grows to like Ikki. Meanwhile, Shizuku tells her roommate Alice about their family. Shizuku adores Ikki so much that she wants to fill his void with her love since Ikki doesn't get any from his family. Alice is transgender. She is able to understand Shizuku's thoughts and is willing to listen to all her troubles. On Ikki's side, he returns to the dormitory and is in the bathroom taking a bath. Stella barges into the bathroom, intending to wash his body for him. As his servant, she believes it is her duty to do so. Seeing Stella's private part, Ikki gets very excited. Stella feels that Ikki likes her private part and deliberately initiates physical contact with him. At this moment, her underclothes falls to the ground, making her very shy and embarrassed. Afterward, Stella and Ikki practice swordsmanship together every day. Stella has a crush on Ikki, so when the weekend is approaching, she decides to ask Ikki to go on a date, but her plan is ruined by Shizuku, who asks Ikki to go to the mall together, and Ikki agrees. Stella is very wary of Shizuku. She follows Ikki to the mall. Surprisingly, Shizuku doesn't come alone. She also brings Alice with her. Alice is a teenage girl deep inside, and she becomes interested in Ikki. Enraged by Alice's action, Shizuku draws her weapon. Alice hastily explains that she was joking. After getting to know each other, Shizuku holds Ikki's hand. Stella is very envious of the act of holding Ikki's hand since she can't do it for not being Ikki's girlfriend. Later, Ikki and Alice encounter a criminal gang in the restroom. Alice is very good at magic. She can manipulate shadows and move in shadows. They use magic to enter the guard room, only to find that the security guards here have passed out. Ikki reports to the director about fighting outside the school. The director solicits a rescue application to the police and tells them to not get hurt. In order not to tip the criminal gang off, they hide in the corner, waiting for the opportunity to save Stella and Shizuku. At this moment, Stella discovers that the crime leader is about to kill a woman. She can't tolerate this brutal act and engages in a confrontation with him using magic. The crime leader wears two rings, one responsible for absorbing Stella's damage and the other for bouncing it back to Stella. In the end, Stella becomes a captive. The crime leader hasn't anticipated that Stella would stand up for the common people. He promises to spare the woman, but Stella has to take off her clothes and kneel down to apologize to him. Stella decides to sacrifice for the sake of the women. Ikki is furious at the criminal leader. He tries to protect Stella but is stopped by Alice, who trusts Shizuku's magic prowess so much that she knows this is not a good time to fight, and tells Ikki to wait a little longer. After that, Shizuku uses magic to protect the crowd. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Ikki attacks the criminal leader. Ikki is speedy with his sword and hits the leader with it before the leader can react. While they fight, Stella and Alice eliminate the other criminals, but none of them expects that a female criminal is hiding among the crowd. She seizes a hostage and demands that they let the leader go. Ikki's classmate, Shizuya, hides in the shadows and helps them to take down the female criminal. The fact that Shizuya looks down on Ikki dissatisfies Stella very much. Shizuya thinks that Ikki is a very weak person. Fearing his strength, Ikki once chose to run away during their fight. He reminds Ikki that they will confront each other in this year's competition and hopes that he will not run away again. Alice is very curious about Ikki's escape during the fight. Under Alice's detailed inquiry, Ikki reveals the truth. Shizuya was instructed by the former director to propose a duel with Ikki. Ikki never hit back at Shizuya since fighting in a non-combat area is not allowed. Alice thinks that Ikki has been oppressed by the outside world because the school rules do not allow students to fight in non-combat areas. As his friend, Alice hopes that someone will be able to heal Ikki's traumas. A few days later, Ikki faces his fight against Shizuya. For Ikki, this is a golden opportunity to prove himself, and he can't afford to lose to Shizuya. Shizuya is highly skilled in using invisibility. Although Ikki has watched Shizuya's previous match recordings, Shizuya has improved significantly, even making his weapon achieve invisibility. Ikki takes this match very seriously. Due to his nervousness, he struggles to find any openings in Shizuya's defense. Shizuya deliberately reveals Ikki's graduation condition in the arena. Ikki had a deal with the current chairman that if he couldn't win the selection contest, he wouldn't be able to graduate. Shizuya thinks that it's impossible for Ikki to defeat him and mocks Ikki as the worst one. Stella sees Ikki knocked to the ground and wonders why he has become such a coward. She stops the others from laughing at Ikki and encourages him to buck up. Stella likes Ikki a lot and wants him to stay badass for good. Ikki hears Stella's voice and snaps out of his disheveled state. Based on the spot of his injuries, the depth of his wounds, and Shizuya's roar, he finds Shizuya. He then uses the death blow and hits Shizuya hard. The first thing Ikki does after winning is confessing his love to Stella. Stella kisses Ikki to firm up that they become a couple and agree to be student representatives together. Over the course of the next 5 matches, Ikki achieves perfect victories. He manages to shed his title as the worst one and gets admired by many. Kagami holds great admiration for Ikki and hopes he will guide the female students in swordsmanship. Ikki agrees to their request, as he can't help but think of Stella being abducted by the criminal gang. If he can assist the female students in improving their combat skills, perhaps they won't have to face such danger. While Ikki is giving sword instruction, several male students attack him. They are very jealous because of Ikki's popularity. Ikki is very observant of the school rules. He knocks them down without using weapons. The male students are conquered by Ikki's strength. They get down on their knees and apologize to Ikki, asking him if he can tutor them in sword fighting. Ikki treats everyone fairly and does his best to help them. One of the training sites for the swordsmanship class is the swimming pool. Ikki thinks Stella is very good at swordsmanship and wants her to assist him to instruct. Stella agrees with him. To make their relationship more intimate, she even prepares a sexy swimsuit, but Ikki is too busy coaching his students to spend time with her. But what she doesn't know is that Ikki really likes her swimsuit look. Since they haven't had physical contact for a while, Ikki doesn't feel like they're a couple and wants to talk to Stella about their relationship. Stella misunderstands that Ikki wants to break up with her and gets upset. Ikki hastily apologizes to Stella. He likes Stella a lot and he doesn't want to leave a bad impression on her, so he has been afraid to take the initiative to get close to her. After clearing the air, Ikki and Stella become closer. Before long, the 6th match arrives. Ikki and Stella hold a 6-match winning streak, earning fame throughout the entire school. A fellow student named Iace greatly admires Ikki's swordsmanship and has been shadowing him. Alice notices Iace's actions and suggests Ikki have a conversation with her. When Ikki calls out to Iace, she gets startled, loses her balance, and falls into a pool. They assist Iace to the infirmary and discover that she is the descendant of the strongest swordsman. Ikki holds great respect for Iace's father and is curious about his current circumstances. Iace tells Ikki that her father was injured in a duel and is recovering in the hospital, and the reason why she follows Ikki is that she encounters a bottleneck when practicing swordsmanship and wants to learn from Ikki. She doesn't know how to talk to Ikki since she hasn't been in contact with a boy, so she chooses to stalk him. Ikki is very nice and offers to invite her to practice swordsmanship together. After that, they have a simple competition. Ikki discovers that Iace has been imitating her father. If she wants to improve her swordsmanship, she must change her gesture. During the adjustment, Ikki touches Iace's body, making Iace very shy. With his help, Iace finally finds a way forward. Stella is very upset because of the physical contact between Ikki and Iace. Ikki holds Stella's hand and tells her that she is the only one for him. It is worth mentioning that Ikki's opponent in the next match is Iace. Alice sees Iace's desire to win. Iace's strength is not as good as Ikki's, so she fears that Iace will resort to despicable means. Ikki does receive a meeting request from Iace, but he believes that Iace has no malicious intent and decides to meet her. When they meet, Iace speaks her true thoughts. She wants to defeat Ikki no matter what means it takes. Because Ikki's death blow can only be used once a day, Iace deliberately ends her life in front of him, forcing Ikki to use the death blow to save her. No doubt, Ikki rescues Iace with his death blow. He doesn't expect Iace to be so desperate and feels very sad. Because of the physical exertion, Ikki falls into a coma. Afterward, he wakes up and encounters the chairman who comes to visit him. The chairman informs them that Iace's father lost in a duel to a student named Corrado, surrendering all his land and real estate to the opponent. Following the defeat, he remains in a coma and has yet to regain consciousness. Iace wishes to avenge her father. However, Corrado deems her strength to be too feeble and has no interest in fighting her. As Corrado was one of the top 8 contestants in last year's national competition, Iace aims to win in the tryouts and challenge him in a duel at the national competition. Icky can feel Iace's desire to win. He guesses that Iace will break the rules during the game and explains it to the teacher in advance. Deep down, Icky still believes that Iace is a person who values self-respect and glory. Even if she has done something bad, he doesn't want to debunk her. After the game starts, Icky's speculation is confirmed. Iace sets a trap in the arena ahead of time, causing Icky to be injured, but Icky is very strong, and he defeats Iace with superb swordsmanship. After the match, Icky offers to avenge Iace. Iace is touched by Icky and decides to accept his help. Iace tells Icky that Corrado is all about violence and is a very evil person. His greatest joy every day is to duel with people. 2 years ago, Corrado badly injured her father. Iace blames herself, thinking that her father wouldn't be in danger if she had dueled Corrado in replace of her father. To avenge Iace, Icky challenges Corrado. Because he showcases formidable swordsmanship, Corrado agrees to a duel with him. Once the duel begins, Icky quickly notices Corrado's advantage, which is that his reflex is much faster than that of ordinary people. Corrado believes this is his unique trait, and that he doesn't have any apparent weakness. He excels in close combat, but his stamina is draining rapidly. Icky relishes competing against strong opponents and is always smiling. Stella believes Iace doesn't understand her father. Her father, like Icky, is a man born to fight. As a swordsman, it is a blessing to die in the arena. If he can't understand the fun of deathmatch, he does not deserve to be called the strongest swordsman. Iace finally realizes what a real swordsman is. She sheds tears, considering herself a disqualified swordswoman. Meanwhile, Icky uses Iace's father's swordsmanship to defeat Corrado. He thinks Iace knows her father well. If it wasn't for her, he wouldn't have been able to imitate her father. Soon after, Icky is overjoyed to learn that Iace's father has woken up from a coma. In the following tryouts, Icky and Stella win 5 races in a row. In order to better train them, the chairman arranges a training camp activity for them. Before the training camp officially starts, they also clean the hotel with the members of the student council. Icky wants to go to the mountains with Stella to enjoy the scenery. Unfortunately, Stella suddenly falls ill. To take care of her, Icky brings her to a nearby wooden house. Since Stella has difficulty breathing, Icky helps her remove her underclothes. Stella notices that Icky has a physiological response, and she wants to take advantage of it to have close physical contact with him. Icky cherishes Stella deeply, and he doesn't want to be hasty in their intimacy. At this time, they are suddenly attacked by an unknown object. Before Stella is jeopardized, members of the student council rush to help. Toka, the president of the student council, is very strong. With her help, Icky and Stella survive the crisis, but what Icky doesn't know is that he was attacked because of his father. Icky admires Toka very much, but he never expects that Toka's opponent in the next match will be Shizuku. Icky is concerned about Shizuku's situation, and he comes to the game with Stella. Shizuku excels at long-distance magic warfare. She uses magic and fights Toka fiercely. Because Shizuku can't tell Toka's tactics, she is at a strategic disadvantage. Even in adversity, Shizuku is reluctant to give up. Her dream is to participate in national competitions with her companions, and she can't fall here. Shizuku struggles to find Toka's flaws, but she is not strong enough to defeat Toka. Eventually, Shizuku loses her qualification to participate in the national competition. The tryouts continue. Icky and Stella have won 14 straight with their outstanding strength. While they are dating, the reporter captures them kissing. The news of their passionate love affair is reported by the press. What's worse, the news portrays Icky as a troubled student, suggesting that their love is not pure. Icky's father takes advantage of this news and summons him to the interrogation room. Stella feels deeply guilty and is torn about whether she should break up with Icky. Shizuku warns Stella that Icky cares deeply about their relationship. If she betrays Icky, she will never forgive her. Stella finally realizes that Icky is protecting her. In the following days, she prepares for the tryouts while awaiting Icky's return. Meanwhile, Icky negotiates with his father. He always thought that the reason why his father hates him is that he is weak. But what he doesn't expect is that his father just doesn't believe he can become the strongest blazer at all. In his father's view, since there's no chance for his son to be the strongest, Icky doesn't need to make any effort. Iki is devastated, losing his sense of purpose in life. As the tryouts nears its conclusion, Iki is allowed to participate in this competition. If he can win, the league will not hold him responsible. Iki gives it his all to arrive at the competition arena. He sees many classmates supporting him and Stella, who has been waiting for him all along. Stella keeps their agreement and wins the final match. The moment Iki sees Stella, he breaks free from his confused state. To fulfill his promise, he is determined to win in the tryouts. Iki's last opponent is Toka. He uses his death blow at the beginning of the game. He concentrates all his strength on his sword. At that moment, Iki exceeds his physical limits. Eventually, he defeats Toka for the ultimate victory. Stella hugs Iki tightly. Iki can feel the warmth emanating from Stella and feels incredibly happy to be with Stella forever. He proposes to her. At the end of the story, Iki becomes the student representative and leads 5 other members in preparing for the national competition. Amid the cheers of their classmates, Iki realizes that being acknowledged by others is a profoundly happy experience, and he is determined to strive for victory in the national competition. That brings the end of this anime. After watching this anime, I am completely conquered by Iki's charm and chivalry. He doesn't have any magic talent, and the only thing he can boast about, his family background, becomes a stumbling block for him. Even so, Iki has never put down the sword in his hand. I think this is why anime is attractive. It provides entertainment and also instills us with strong convictions, inspiring us to be as brave as these great protagonists. Well, today's video ends here. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Your support means a lot to me. Bye!